This is one of those 90s movies that I think just genuinely doesn't get talked about nearly enough as it probably should. The reason why is because it's genuinely underrated. And I'll tell you why. At the core of this film, this is literally a slapstick film, which is like Looney Tunes comes to real life. That sort of humour of Roadrunner nearly killing Coyote for like the 100th fucking time. That is what Baby's Day Out is. It is this scenario of cartoon humour, which they should die from some of these events that happen and whatever, or be seriously injured, but they shake it off like cartoon, like a cartoon villain would. And I think that works for this kind of humour. There's a time and a place for it, like in Home Alone as well. It's the same sort of humour that gets used, apart from Baby's Day Out uses it all the way through the film. I think this film relies on the chemistry that the three guys really have, of being able to carry the film, because the baby doesn't really talk. It uses little cheeky smiles and stuff like that, but it's one of those where it's almost like fate doesn't want these three to be able to catch the baby, throwing in stuff in the construction site and things just appearing out of nowhere, and these disguises just don't work and things just don't fall right for them, and they're so unlucky in a way. But it's one of those, I think it's the world telling them you're getting nowhere near this kid. I think the story was pretty good, of these three trying to get the baby to get a ransom fee because their family is super fucking rich, and it just made sense for the story element of them wanting to take the kid for more of a ransom thing rather than doing anything to the kid. But not being able to get their hands on him to get to be able to have this conversation with ransom and stuff makes it a cool little distraction, because they're like, oh, as soon as we get it, it's like a gold mine. But that gold mine keeps getting further and further away from it. The only thing I would say is, and this is where the film gets its limitations from, the slapstick becomes a bit stale, and I'll tell you why. Because, in all fairness, a film full of that slapstick humour, it works, but it gets boring when you don't have another element to the story to tell. Like with Home Alone, for instance, you have character development of Kevin growing up, and becoming less afraid of these villains, and being able to step up after a while. With this, we saw the baby take that step of like, oh, I'm just going to crawl this way and whatever. And it was almost like fate and the world was making this so that the baby would always escape. The stuff with the gorilla, where the gorilla helps protect the baby and things like that. I think, yeah. And with the construction site as well, the baby escaping several times from their grasps and then them being hit like it's a fucking cartoon. I mean, all those sorts of things are great, but there's nothing else that goes, oh my god, that character development here, because the villains never learn from it, in which would be great, because even in Home Alone, the villains sort of learn the, oh, we nearly got him. At 2 points in Home Alone 1 and in Home Alone 2, when he slips on the ice, especially in, I think it might have been both, or at least in one of them, slips on the ice, and it's like, oh my god, they've got him. Oh no, what's going to happen? How are they going to get out of this? And eventually they do get out of it. I think having those moments in there puts a little bit of a seed of doubt in there, but there was no seed of doubt in there. You knew the baby was going to get away from him. And I think also this is not one of those comedy movies, in my particular opinion, which is at the top of your watch list. No fault of its own, but let's be honest. Is it on American Pie levels? Is it on Superbad levels? Is it on The Hangover levels? No, because it's a lot of family humour. This is the problem on comedy night. When you're sitting down trying to watch a film, you're not going to pick something which is boxed into this sort of family appeal. If you sat down with a family, even then, I think there's better comedy films to watch which are more appealing to kids, and I'd more go for something like a Shrek or Madagascar, or even if you're going for a live action sort of appeal, I would probably go with more like a Spy Kids or Night at the Museum. Meet the Parents is sort of on that verge as well. I'd go with those rather than this. However, I do still enjoy this film because there's always a time and a place for this kind of slapstick comedy, but it is very limited to what you can actually do with this kind of film. But do let me know your thoughts down in the comments down below. Do you love Baby's Day Out, or is it one of those where you also see limitations? And is it underrated? Let us know down in those comments down below. Hence why I'm going to rate this a 6.6 out of 10. Do you agree with that rating? Let us know down in those comments down below. And if you haven't yet seen our last movie review, then check that out now on screen.